All right, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check it out, yo. Check it out. Is everybody out there? It's Friday. Friday. Awesome. All right, music's down. Yeah. 5 essential GPTs. AI assistants to speed up and improve work. That sounds like a lovely session. All right. Oh shit, I'm hosting it. All right, cool. Yeah, just kidding. So we'll get it sorted, ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday, October the 24th. Things are great, and I am live. So let me know if you are um, hearing me, seeing me. Okay. If you're on the chat, on the comments, give a comment. Where are you connecting from? What are you looking for? What are you excited about today? Let's talk. Let's talk. Awesome. Um, so welcome back to another session. Like every Friday. Is it every Friday? Yeah, most Fridays, I'd say. We're gonna slow it down on some Fridays, but we're here live sharing, transparent everything that I know, that I'm learning, and all the mistakes that I do, as well. I have, I like transparency. It's important. So today is going to be 5 essential GPTs. All right. So, what are GPTs, right? I think that everybody's going to ask that, but before that, shall we just like how many custom GPTs are you currently using, right? I think if you can comment that below, that'd be awesome. If you're watching it live, if you're watching the recording, whatever you're doing, just comment on how many GPTs are you actually using? How many custom GPTs that you have prepared, designed, and engineered, or maybe your team has done that you're using, right? Let's know what are you doing with that. All right, cool. In the meantime, all right. So, what are GPTs and why do they matter? I know that a lot of people like me to just get down down to business and actually share everything that I do. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my ChatGPT here and I'm going to share my view with you guys now. Here we go. This is my ChatGPT. You should be seeing it now. All right. Oh, yeah. Okay. We're 1 second. I'm gonna have to reshare there. Oh, no. Okay. Back. Okay. Oh, wow. Yes. All right. I sound like a monkey there. But technology sometimes, right? I wish this was all AI driven as well, but no. Can we? Oh, if I maximize that, um, here we go. That's cool. I need to maximize my window a little bit more. Here we go. Here we go. Um, oh, my window is not getting bigger. Why is that? Why is that? Let's see if I can get you a bigger window. Here we go. That's a little bit better, isn't it? That's awesome. A funny fact is yesterday I was watching somebody's restream, and I was like, "Ooh, okay," you know. So hopefully we're not doing too bad with our restream. So custom GPTs. I'm actually in my workspace, in my company space, in my business account. Let me switch to my personal account. Remember, you can switch your accounts on the bottom left. Why am I going to switch to my personal one first? Because I use quite a few GPTs here, right? So let's close some of these tabs. As you can see now, we have this really a neat way of cleaning our folders, our GPTs, projects, chats, and everything in between. So here you have GPTs, right? So if you open up GPTs, if you don't have any GPTs, you're just going to have Explore, okay? So if you click Explore, right, you come to the GPT store. But what is GPTs first, right? Let's talk about what are GPTs. GPTs are custom versions of a profile sitting on top of ChatGPT, right? So what does that mean? You're gonna say, right? So basically, imagine that you have the large language model, right? So which is GPT-5, right? GPT-5 Auto, GPT-5 Auto is a router. We have GPT-5 Instant, we have GPT-5 Mini, right? So all these things you see here are models, right? Okay, so the Auto is a router, and then these are models, right? And we had our old models as well, right? So imagine one of these models as the infrastructure, right? As the base layer. Okay, so this is the base layer. All right, and then a custom GPT is a profile, a customized version sitting on top that can have access to all that information, but is niched down. So it's like a second level of information, right? I always say that as well. Your custom instructions in your profile is another level of information. It's another layer of information. The memory feature in ChatGPT that remembers things about you is another layer of information. Your prompt is another layer of information as well. Okay. And then Custom GPT has also another layer of information. Okay. And that's what we're going to really explore. Why do we have these layers of information? What do we do with these things? Why do we have this thing, right? At the end of the day, it's because um, it's very simple, actually. We have them because we want more custom, we want more specialized usage of AI and large language models. We don't want this generic Google kind of type of thing where you ask a question and it just gives you a result from whatever it found. But you want it to be specific to you. You want it to do tasks for you. You want it to do things for you, right? And that's why we do that, right? Okay. And specialized GPTs outperforms general prompts. Why? Because they are there. You've designed them. You have 8,000 characters to design them as well, and then you have knowledge documents that it can have access to. I'm going to show you all that in a second, and it has a bunch of stuff. Okay, cool. So awesome, and we're going to build these GPTs live, right? We're building them live. I think so. Let's just build them live. Yeah, awesome. We'll build 5 GPTs live, okay? And let's just start. Let's just look back at our GPTs quickly. All right. So if you explore, you can find a bunch of GPTs. Let's say that you want it to be writing. You could find like a writing assistant or a writer. If I write writing in the search, you'll see that in a second. I'm gonna get some results. Hopefully, right here we go. Writing assistant, right? It has 1 million used already. Wow, this is a popular one by Mohammed, right? So community builder, you could see first his name and then it just disappeared. Funny enough, I think that's a bit of a bug, but yes, Mohammed Ziara, right, has built also another one, right? He's built also app sheet expert, but also built this writing assistant. Big question that everybody has right away is security. A GPT doesn't mean that they can access your chats with it, right? They only the chats and everything that is done, it's in your own workspace. So the same security privacy settings of your own workspace also goes with custom GPTs. So the builder has no access whatsoever to your information. Okay, just to clarify that right away, right? So people rate these GPTs. They have some conversation starters, meaning that it's easy for you to start these. So you can use that GPT if you want, right? In the bottom, you have the categories. You can find a bunch of GPTs that are ranking. It's like the App Store at the end of the day, right? It's like the Apple App Store, right? The iPhone App Store, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to build a GPT, okay? So when you create on the top right, you can build a GPT. On the right section, it's the demo, it's the preview, it's where you test your GPT. On the left is where you build your GPT, right? And the left is broken down into 2 tabs. The left is the create tab, which I call it the beginner mode, and the configure, I call it the advanced mode, right? But you should always kind of start in the beginner mode because it's fun to start in the beginner mode just to get things going, and then you quickly come to the advanced mode. Okay, so let's talk about 5 essential GPTs that everybody needs, right? So I'm going to build the first one. Okay, I'm going to build a writing slash content GPT, right? And it says, what would you like to make? I'm just going to really write that, right? I'm just going to write writing content GPT for emails, proposals, copy, right? That's it. You don't have to over engineer this, by the way, right? Because you're just starting, right? And as you can see right away, it's updating the GPT, right? Okay. So what's great is this is actually a GPT that builds GPTs, right? So this box, right? And this is actually the GPT itself, but this is the GPT that builds the GPT that has access to the settings and to the configuration that you have here. As you can see now, it's filled up already, right? Because we said something here, and you can see we already have conversation starters. We have a bit of a description. We don't have a name yet or an image yet, right? So that's going to be the next things that it's going to want to do, right? It's going to say, here we go. I suggest naming a precision pen. Okay, great. Okay, great. Precision pen it is, right? And then I'm gonna say that's it. I'm just gonna say, okay, great. Precision pen it is, right? So what you'll see now that it's going to change the name. Now in a second I'm going to have a precision pen. Then it's doing also a profile picture, which is great because from the name it's being creative, and it's going to definitely do something pen. And I think that it's still using Dolly 3, so it's not the best image gen whatsoever. Okay, which in a second we should see our profile image as well. Let's see. All right, we're waiting. Oh, did you not get any image yet? Next, let's give. Oh, okay, it didn't. I'll generate. Oh, it kind of said that, but it didn't. All right, say yes, yes. Give me a profile picture. Give me a profile. It'll understand, right? So now finally, it's actually generating the profile picture, right? So now you can see we have precision pen. We have creates professional and persuasive emails, proposal, and marketing copy. Okay. Oh, the image generator is having trouble. All right. Let's say try again, and maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't, right? Yesterday, the day before, ChatGPT had lots of problems, right? And I think that sometimes we still having some little issues as well. Okay, no image generation. All right, let's kind of give up on that. So you can kind of continue this here, right? So what are the tone and so on? I can potentially see I could do that. Can you make it in the tone and brand guidelines of aioperator.com? Let's see if it's going to be able to get that, right? Okay. So it's updated in GPT. Cool. All right. AI operators tone brand guidelines, phrases, style, or brand principle like clarity over clearness, confidence with a hype. Yeah, that's cool. All right. So if I come to configure, as you can see now, writes clear, persistent content in AI operators tone and brand style, right? And then if I open up the instructions, it's not much, it's very tiny bit, right? And here you have 8,000 characters. Actually, you can really work on this. Let's do a quick hack then. Why not, right? We all love a quick hack here, I think, right? Um, Tom is having the same issue with Imogen. Yeah, I guess we're having some downtime on that. Sometimes, Tom, what I love about that is that it could always be a good news, right? It could be that a new update is coming, right? I always look at the positive side of it. When there's so many areas, I'm like, "Ooh, something new is coming," and most of the time, you get some new feature or some new update, and it's like, "Yeah." Yeah. So hopefully that's that, right? Let's get this, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hack my way, using not the I'm not gonna use this GPT builder, but I'm gonna use ChatGPT itself because I believe that on ChatGPT itself, due to the memory that I have and so on, I could get a better job, right? So I'm gonna say something like, I'm building a custom GPT. And this custom GPT is going to be a pen, like a writing assistant for me as the founder and the AI operator brand, right? So that I write in the AI operator brand. Um, so could you make sure to first, visit the airoperator.com website, summarize the tone, the style of the writing, and so on, some do's and don'ts. I'm also going to give you a little bit of instructions that I already created. It's a very quick draft. Look at my memory. Look at my AI operator website, sure, as I mentioned, but you can also look potentially at, we have some brand guidelines in our Notion as well, right? Or even on the Google Drive. Right? So I'm quite unsure where is what, but this is why I love AI, right? And I'm gonna make sure that I'm allowing a few things. Like I have my Notion, so let's make sure we have some sources here. I have my Drive on. All right, I'm gonna have Web on as well, which okay, that's already on, and then that's it, right? So I'm gonna send this out, okay, and now I'm gonna get a much better instructions, right? Because it's already kicking in, is reading some Google Drive, is reading our Notion. Okay, it's awesome, right? Because it's actually helping us do the job, right? So it's helping us find all the necessary docs to feed this custom GPT's instructions. Okay, so hopefully we're not gonna get too buggy, and we're gonna get that in a second. It's reading all this Drive and Notion. Okay. Let me drink some water in the meantime. This is gonna take a minute, yeah. Um, all right, we're looking forward to what it's gonna bring. Maybe we should kind of start building the other ones in the meantime. No, it'll happen. It'll happen. Okay, it's taking the information already, I reckon. Now it's thinking. Here we go. It's thinking and it's bringing it. Cool, right? AI operator tone and style. So it's already got that, right? Writing do's, writing don'ts. That's awesome. All right, that's cool. Right? It's telling us, it's giving us instructions, but I'm like, can you just give me the whole instructions? Right? All right, I'm getting that. Raphael uses his own custom service pro GPT. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's really cool. Yeah, everybody should have GPTs. All right, so I just hacked my way into getting the instructions. Here we go. I'll just copy that, right? And then I'll come back to my custom GPT. I'll open my instructions on the bottom right. Remember, we can get 8,000 characters. I know that this is not needed, right? I'm going to remove that. Output behavior and so on. Do spend a little bit of time, of course, on this, but we got a nice little markdown. Let's clean this as well, all right? And then we potentially got our first GPT, right? So also, couple of things on GPTs that are important. Okay, let's close that, right? Is the others, right? So the other things that we can do. So you can have the conversation starter. These are just, to test like quick things. If you, especially sharing with others, or even for you yourself, and you're like, I'm going to do 4 tasks with this GPT each time. You just map those out in conversation starters. You come in and you click and it does it, right? So you can kind of do that. And then you have knowledge, which is really cool because you can put files in here, right? So if, let's say that I actually have a guide that I wrote, right? And I'm going to say, here we go. This is a guide that I wrote. I'm uploading this guide. It's called the leadership checklist. All right. And I could even say in the instructions now, somewhere, let's find out where. All right. Let's see, where can I put it? Content consistency, maybe. Maybe somewhere here I could say, in the knowledge, I have a markdown file of a guide example I have written previously. Use previously use that as a reference, right? And then you could say, what was it, 08 leadership guide.md, right? And then you could put kind of these things, yeah, and then you could say the file is called this. We're doing that because that's going to be faster. If you say exactly which file, what's the name of the file, like let's say you had 20 files, right, which is the limit, 20 files. I think that maybe it's changing in the pro plans now, and it's 10 gig. So leadership sweep, right? So leadership. I can't write leadership now. So yeah, so I'm having issues in writing leadership today. Why is that? That happens sometimes to me. Why does it happen? Sometimes my brain just fries. I fry my own brain. Does that happen to you guys as well, right? Leadership. I can't write leadership right now. Leadership. Yeah, because I put an extra E, I think, right? And my brain gets fried on a Friday, especially, right? Especially if I had a very good week, a good week, right? I've had a good week, busy, nice busy. I like busy, right? Positive, right? So here we go. So leadership, guys, so you're putting that because then it's easier for it to find the exact file. Right now I have only one, so it's easy. It's just going to check one. But if you had 20 and you didn't say exactly which file was what and when to use which file, it's going to start looking at all files, and it's going to take time because it has to read the files, understand which file and where in the file is important for the reference or so on. But if you write exactly where it is, how to use it, and why to use it, then it's going to have a much better time, right? Cool. So you can recommend a model in GPTs now. You couldn't do this previously, and now you can kind of do that. So you could say, some people are still in love with their GPT 4.0 style, right? So you can have your GPT 4.0 style, but I'll go with a GPT 5. I'm not going to go with pro or thinking because this is about writing. So I don't need reasoning for it. I need actually just content creation. Do I want some web search? Potentially. Do I want a canvas? Yes, 99%, because I want to write everything on potentially on a canvas, right? And you can even write that in the instructions. You can say each time we're writing a document, a newsletter, or whatever, make sure to open up a canvas each time, right? So you can kind of say these things, right? I don't need an image generation. Okay, so that's good. Code interpreter. Code interpreter and data analysis. Do I need that? Yeah, maybe, because I might upload a file, and then in that file I might do some analysis about the numbers and so on, and write something about that, right? So that might be something that I do actually want to put in there, right? So that's another capability that I'm going to allow. All right, and then we have actions. We have custom actions. Custom actions are really cool because this is where you can get your GPT to do other things, like to go to a different platform to pull information, to post information as well. So what you could do is, like, if you're writing a newsletter here, you could get it. You could get it to post it onto your newsletter platform, Beehive, Substack, or whatever your newsletter platform is, right? So as soon as it's ready here, oh great, now go post it, because you had the custom action already planned here, right? It would do that. It would go and post it for you. Okay, but let's say that we're good with our first one, right? So we have a precision pen. So you can decide if you want to share it with only yourself, right? If you just want to use it yourself, you want to use it so that you can give it to anyone with a link, or you want to put it in the GPT store publicly, right? Here I'll just share only me for now, let's say, right? In the teams plan, in the business plan, in the ChatGPT business plan, you have different settings of sharing it with your team as well, right? So you get one more layer saying, share it with the AI operator team. Okay, so you can also do that. So now if I click view my GPT, let's click on view GPT. You can see that we have our GPT ready. Now it's on here. We didn't do the image, right, because image generation had some issues, but we have our GPT ready, right? So that's GPT number one, okay? And then I can build a bunch of GPTs like this, right? And I'll show you very quickly, how to build them. And I think that you should kind of spend the time on then making them better. Okay. But again, I start here very easily. I put this, the next one is a data analysis GPT for spreadsheet reports and insights, right? So we're doing 5 GPTs in record time. Okay. Cool. Does that name work for you? Great. Right. I'm just going very quick here. Okay, my goal here is to get a start of a GPT, and then I'll do the same hack, because I know that ChatGPT will help me a ton in my own space, right? And because we're working on something quite interesting when we're doing the custom GPT instructions, GPT-5 is smart enough on the auto to switch to thinking, right? But if you want to just guarantee it, you can switch to thinking, because it's more strategic, and I'm asking about the memory, and I'm asking to look at drive and so on. It's not going to stay an instant, right? So just FYI, everybody. Cool. So let's try again if we can get some image. Try image gen. All right. Let's see if we can get some image gen. All right. So the goal always to start it with the beginner mode, is like the creating mode, and just to get a little bit of a draft, so, a little bit of details, a little bit of a name, maybe some kind of conversation starters. It really it's great because it gets you out of your box, out of the creative block kind of thing, right? Here we go. So image gen is still not working. Awesome stuff. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the same thing here, right? I'm going to get this description, and just to be fast for today, I'm going to get my same chat. Okay. Let's see if I can do that. All right. That chat is already lost. So I'm going to start a new chat here on my chat GPT. I'm going to say something like that. I am building a GPT for data analysis to help me as a founder in my company to analyze CSV spreadsheets, understand numbers, insights, and so on. Okay, I have some of a start, but please check my memory, check my instructions, check maybe some Drive and Notion files like our goals and so on Notion, like our rocks and KPIs, key results, and so on, to kind of customize this GPT instruction to be my best assistant as the founder of AI Operator, and be very specific for AI operator use cases. And here's my draft, right? So I'm doing something very simple. Boom, I'm putting my draft, right? Make I didn't make sure that I had the connectors on. Let's see if it's gonna, because I said hopefully Notion files and Google Drive. Oh, we have already a little bit of a buggy. It's kind of stopped, as you can see, right? So it was down. Was it yesterday that it was down for a while? I think it was yesterday. After that, I don't think we have fully recovered our ChatGPTs. Let's see if I can refresh it. See if I can get some love. No, no love. No love. All right. So, oh, here we go. It's coming. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So a little bit slow. All right. So we're getting some of our goals and so on. So all our goals and so on and our stuff. Awesome. Cool. Raphael is looking for a good GPT for Excel. Raphael, build it yourself. Yeah, I'm just gonna be, you know, super honest. If you're looking for a good GPT, just build it yourself. Because you can't have the guarantee of other people's GPTs. And why have somebody else's GPT, right? That's what I would say, right? Cool. So we got even a role, knowledge, behavior, response style. Great. I could continue to do it more and more and more and more and more, right? But I want to get to these 5 in the time that we have, and then I want to show you some stuff. So I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna come back to this GPT, right? And I'm gonna delete that, and I'm gonna put that in here. Boom. This is a good one, actually, right? And what are the files that you're gonna put here? Potentially, I will put a file of our Q3 reports, some maybe the type of insights and how I like them, and things like that. And I'll tell in the instructions, like we did in the previous GPT, to have that as examples. Here, there's I might not want web search. I might want Canvas because I could create reports from it. I don't want image gen. I definitely will need code interpreter and data analysis because I want data analysis to kick in. Data analysis to kick in means I want Python script to actually do the data analysis, and I don't want the large language model to do the data analysis. I want the large language model to create the code, to generate the code to do the data analysis, because then I know that data analysis is not going to be wrong if it's code doing it. But if it's the large language model doing it, right, there is a very big chance that it's going to make mistakes, right? Because it's going to want to be creative and it's going to make up information and so on, right? Hallucinations, right? But if we do use Python, we're going to have a great job, right? But here I'm definitely not going to keep it on GPT-5, because this I need I need some heavy compute, right? Because this is an important task. I could go GPT-5 thinking, I have a GPT-5 Pro. I pay for the Pro plan, so I don't have much limits on these things. I could decide to go GPT-5 Pro because it's very important for me, data analysis, right? You still will have a great job with GPT-5 thinking. Don't get me wrong. GPT-5 Pro is maybe, if I did the data analysis and I wanted to kind of create a whole dashboard that was interactive, it was coded and React or something like that, then I'm gonna have a better time with GPT-5 Pro. I know that, right? So I will use GPT-5 Pro. What will be some actions that we might use here, right? Very quick actions would be to pull the data from places, right? To create one that is, pull data from our CRM, pull data from our online banking platform. You do have APIs in platforms like Mercury, online banking, where I could say, check out the last quarter's transactions, check out our CRM, analyze the data, give me some insights on where can I cut down on cost and things like that, right? So as a founder, I'm definitely going to need that, right? Especially if you're a founder of a small team, but even if you're a founder of a massive team, and what do you do if you have, the CEOs and the founders of 550 people? I know what you do. Haha, don't hide. You go, you're like, hey, I need this, can you get me this by Friday or whatever, or, or in 2 weeks? And literally, you'll have people, data scientists, that go for 2 weeks and try to get you that information. And I have some news for you. you could do that 2 weeks of things now in minutes if you have the right sources, if your data sources are clean. Even if they're not clean, you could do it. But if it's clean, especially, and you have good platforms and you build a custom GPT with some good actions, you could do that job in minutes. Literally minutes. I'm not joking. Not joking here, by the way. Right? And potentially you don't even need the API because I can show you a little hack if you want. Let me show you a quick hack. All right, so let's say that I built this. This is ready for me, right? Only me. This is my data insight analyst. Right. The great thing about GPTs, let's go view GPTs. They're like little assistants, as we said, right? They're like these little profiles, these little people. You can call them little people, right? Let me see what's happening with my chats. Some of my chats are not. Here we go. All right. So is it on this one and here? Okay. So I did get some goals and so on here. And let's say that I used my connectors here, right? I added some sources, right? And let's say that I got information from our Google Drive because I had a doc there, from our Notion, from our Slack. And let's say I got a bunch of numbers and it's like everything's here. I'm not using a custom GPT yet, by the way, right? I'm just bringing all the knowledge, all the context, right? I bring all the connectors to here first, okay? I bring all the context to here, and then I'm like, oh shit, okay. Now I have it here, and now what you could do is you can come in here and then here normally, right, which I think that now we have apps. You saw first I get the apps now, right? So if I do apps, I get codecs for Slack, Spotify, Figma, Coursera, Canva. But before, we didn't have these apps. We would just get the GPTs. So now you get these. But if I write data insight analyst, I know that that's my GPT name. As you can see, the box has changed. Now I'm bringing the data insight analyst to this conversation. Right? And I just said, can you analyze the above info? Right? So what's happening here is that the context of the chat thread, right? I've created this context of a chat thread. And what did I do? I just, boom, I brought in my custom GPT called Data Insight Analyst to the conversation. And it has context of all this previous chats, right? So suddenly it can help me, come in here and do the job with me, right? So people are like, oh yeah, but if you have a GPT, you can't use connectors, you can't use. Yeah, you can't, but you can as well, right? Because you can bring the context into the chat thread first, then you can pull in a GPT. And by the way, let's say that I've done a really nice insight analysis here, right? So I love this insight, and I want to write something about it, right? Maybe I want to write a memo, right, to my founders, right, or to my business partners, or maybe I want to write, to our VCs, to our investors. Maybe I want to write it to, our team members, right? And remember, we had our first GPT was the precision pen, right? So now I can say, look, look at above info, and write a quick email for our team, right? You see, now I had context. I built context with the connectors. Then I brought in a GPT to do the insight analysis, and now I'm bringing the precision pen to write something. Right. So in one chat thread, you can actually pull in multiple GPTs to help you do the job. Right. So imagine, you're in a meeting with ChatGPT, and then you're like, hey, I want also my analyst to come in. I also want my writing assistant to come in, my marketeer, my this, my that. You can bring all these people, right? All these people, all these assistants, all these GPTs to come and join the meeting, have the context of the meeting, and help you do better at the task that you have at hand, right? So boom, we got that, and then as you can see, we started to write about it as well, right? This is really cool. This is absolutely super cool stuff, right? So we got 2 GPTs already working for us. Precision Pen, Data Insight Analyst, right? Let's build a few more because we said 5. It's 3:37 my time, Turkey time. It's Turkey time, right? So I was gonna make a turkey noise, but that would have been hilarious. So I didn't do it. So I'm gonna, again, you can do that here, but I like to start it here. And I'm going to build my third one. It's going to be called Project Management GPT for planning, tracking, and coordination. Right. And as you can see, boom, again, we're updating the GPT. So you can see that it's in no time you could get a bunch, right? It doesn't mean they're amazing, but they're quite good. You know why? Because when I do that little hack where I go on ChatGPT back and I say, check my drive, check my memory, check my instructions, it knows everything about me anyways. It knows, what I need, right? So I'm gonna have like 90% there. The 10% might be that I want to go in and be like, oh, why do you give the results like this? Maybe let's change this, let's change that, right? So I could kind of go and tweak small things after, right? But I'm definitely going to get most of it already done, created for me. Right, let's see if it's going to do image gen now. Potentially still not, right? Are we having still the same error in image gen? Right, and I'm going to do the same hack in a second. Yeah, still having image generator problems. That's great. So I'm hoping that we're going to have an update to the image gen. That'd be awesome, right? So I take the instructions again. I come in here again, and then I say again, oh, sorry, I come to my ChatGPT, start a thread. I'm building a project management assistant GPT to help me as the founder manage our team members, manage our projects at AI Operator. Can you double check on Notion? All our projects and tasks and who we have as team members. What are the type of projects that it needs to manage, the style of project management that we need, and fully customize this draft GPT instructions I started to be like the top number one project management assistant for AI Operator and for me as a founder to have a great skill set in managing our projects. Right, so I'm giving it a little bit inspirational. I give my draft, okay, and I say, go do the job, man. This is why we have ChatGPT. It should do the job. And so I said, read Notion, because we do project management in Notion. We have a bunch of projects in Notion. So what it'll do, it'll search in Notion projects, project tasks, things like that. It's going to read that and it's going to be like, oh, okay, these are the type of projects they're doing. This is how they do the updates and so on. So it's getting to know exactly how we do project management from the context of Notion and not just ChatGPT, right? And this is a really nice little hack as well, right? So here we go. So we do have, yeah. So I keep using Notion, and a bunch of people are asking me questions about Notion. I even had an email the other day about Notion. We do have a blog about Notion. Maybe we can put it on the link somewhere in the screen. Oh, here we go. Yeah, okay, it's on our blog. So if you go arpreneur.com/blog, you could read more about Notion, how we use Notion, Notion AI, and things like that. I think we did an event about that a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So you could also find that on a LinkedIn event. Yeah. Or I think on our website as well, right? We have an event section on our website. Hopefully that's updated as well. So you should be seeing it there as well. Yeah, that is updated. So you can find it on our website as well, right? So we have all this stuff all around for you to find. So if you have a question, you ask us, we'll find you the answer because we have all of this stuff. Boom, look at that. It already knows all my team members. It knows their responsibilities. It knows their key focuses. It knows everything about them. It knows how we do EOS elements, quarterly rocks, accountability chart, VTO, L10 meetings. It knows our bi-weekly meetings, task iteration, ownership by domain, who owns what. It knows all the tools that we use, right? It knows everything. Can you see that? Like, why write all this yourself, right? When I could just get this, boom, awesome. And now you could say, give me a super detailed custom instruction for this GPT. Yeah, cool. I think that live sessions is aroperator.com/live hyphen sessions, right? I'm sure. Can you Google aroperator live sessions maybe, and that'll come out. Ask ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT. Say, I know this crazy guy called Tim Cakir, whatever you want to call it. At the AI operator, do they have some live sessions? Let me know, right? And so on. Cool. So as you can see, I mean, a lot of people come and tell me they're like, I don't know what to do with ChatGPT, or I don't know how I could do this. I'm like, did you ask it? They're like, no. I'm like, duh. Well, go ask it. It's like, duh. Go ask ChatGPT first. No, I'm joking, guys. Come and ask me. I love that. But most of the time, my answer is the same. It's like, go ask ChatGPT. No, I'm sure you can ask ChatGPT, but come with specific questions, and I'm more than happy to answer. And I answer everybody, all my comments, all my emails, all my LinkedIn's. It might take some time, but I do answer them because I answer them. I don't have an AI doing that. I had an AI. I've tried it many times, and I was like, no, no. This is one of the things I don't want AI to do. I want to answer stuff, right? Um, Cool. So I got that. I'm gonna open this up because this is gonna be quite a long one. All right. So I'm gonna remove this and boom, I'm gonna put that in. I'm just gonna clean it up a little bit. I don't need the custom GPT name here, right? It start with a core purpose right away because it knows its name. And on the bottom, there's always some crap like that I can clean up, right? I could put some. Maybe I could also put here on the knowledge. I could put our goals, right? I could put our Q4 goals, so that I say when you're managing projects, make sure that every project is, related to a goal, is related to a rock, to a KPI, to a key result, blah, 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 right? I can kind of do that in the instructions and give the files. Here, I definitely will go with GPT-5 thinking. I don't need the pro level, but I do need some intelligence, some compute, some reasoning. So I go with GPT-5 thinking. Would I need web search? Maybe. Canvas, maybe. Imagen, no. Code interpret data analysis, maybe. And everybody's like, why don't you just enable everything? Well, you can, of course, enable everything. But what happens is that, I'm never going to need an image. And you say something, and suddenly it's like, oh, let me generate you an image. And it's like, no, don't generate an image. It's like, so if you don't want to fight with it, then you're never going to need an image gen. Why have the capability of image gen, right? So that's what I do. Also, one great action that I would build here, I would definitely build an action to pull and post information to our Notion projects database and task database, right? So that I do the job here and I say, go check it out. Do we have that project? Can you create that project? Can you create tasks? What are the tasks that Kubi didn't finish, or Andrea didn't finish? Bring all that information, write it down, and post an update or something like that. And maybe I could even give a Slack action as well and say, post a message on Slack on the projects we're waiting for and tasks we're waiting for. That's a great use case, right? I definitely think I should do that myself. I definitely. This is why I love these live sessions because it opens up my own. I'm like, oh wow, well, yeah, these are things I need to do, right? So we do kind of do these things, but we're not as intentional sometimes. And then I think that it was our Q4 keyword in our company is intentionality, right? So we want to be more intentional with everything that we do. We do things, but we want to be more intentional, right? So I want to be a bit more intentional of all of my GPTs that I build and I use, right? But this is awesome because I got a GPT now, right, which is my project navigator, right? I like that, right? And then as you can see, my project navigator is on thing, so I get the thinking time already. You might have light and extended. I have pro, so I have light, standard, extended, heavy. Don't worry about it. Don't cry. You still will have a good weekend if you don't have those. So I got three of them. So now the same thing that I did on here, right? Oh, sorry, it was here. Here? No, was it here? Customer data GPT, maybe here. Right? Oh yeah, because here we wrote that little email, right? And then you wanted to make this a project. You can come in, either project navigator, design a project, right? And again, now the project navigator has the context of this chat thread. And be careful, of course, there's a context token limit, there's a context window limit, and as information goes down, it will start missing out information above, right? Okay, so that's what's happening when you're like, oh, it doesn't remember something, right? It does happen, okay? Cool. So as you can see, bam, it's starting to create a whole project about it, right? And if I had a custom action now and I said, go put it on Notion, put all these projects on Notion, it would go do that. How awesome is that? How awesome is that, right? I love that. That's really cool. So that's now three. We have two more. Let's build. We have 12 minutes. So that you know all the important ones that you should have. So yeah, this is a good one. This is a one that you might need. Here we go. So I'm gonna come back, explore, go create, and I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna go on create mode because it's faster. And I'm gonna put the research GPT for market research, competencies, or meeting notes to actions, consumes transcripts, output decision owners, deadlines, sends to PM tool. Okay. So we could also have an action here for the project management tool for Notion, right? So suddenly I have my project manager, or you don't even have to have the PM tool connected here, because you can, I just did earlier, you could have the different GPTs in the same chat thread. So let's say that the project manager prepared all the projects, right? You could let that prepare the projects in the same thread, then bring this one in and say, hey, can you update the project management platform, or the other one doing that, vice versa, right? You can decide how you want that, because you have suddenly this army of GPTs. I'm not going to call them agents. You have this army of GPTs that can help you do the job, right? Different jobs, and so on, and you can bring them all together, right? Oh, it's retrying again. It's not going to work. The image gen is definitely broken today, right? So I'm taking the instructions again. Oh, this is a little bit longer this time. It decided. Sometimes it does do that, right? And I'm going to come in back into my thing here, and I'm going to say something like this. Oh, I didn't say anything here, so let's do that again. My bad. Let's start this again. Here we go. Um, I'm designing a custom GPT to help me as the founder of AI Operator in research. I want this to do competitive research, trends, analysis, and all these research material that I need to be a better founder, and to be able to, steer the vision and the direction and strategy of AI Operator properly. So update my instructions accordingly. And also, this should kind of be also, if I have a meeting notes and I bring this in, it should kind of research those meeting notes, understand from those meeting notes, get action items from those meeting notes. It doesn't just research online, but it's also researches internally and helps me research meetings and a bunch of other stuff like that, right? I that wasn't my best chat whatsoever. It's the fourth one. I'm getting a little bit, don't worry. We're gonna do five. We got 8 minutes, right? So that's gonna be our final one. Here, I like that we didn't get into reasoning, as you can see, because I didn't say Notion, I didn't say Drive, I didn't say anything. So we're getting potentially GPT-5 instant, right, answering us. It's going to be okay. It's not going to be as custom as the other ones, but it does have some customization. Why? Because it still can read, of course, um, our instructions, our custom instructions, our memory, and so on, right? So it's still an okay job, but you want to customize these potentially further by doing some internal search as well, right? But I'm glad that we got that. And now I'm going to come back to where I was building my GPT here. Okay, I'm going to take this, I'm going to delete that, I'm going to put that, I'm going to clean this again, as you know, right? Hacking my way, just to be productive, to show you that you can get GPT this quickly, actually, right? So here we definitely want web search. We might want a canvas. I don't want image generation. Do we want code input data analysis? Yes, potentially. Now, this is most of the time you want that, because that gives you the skills of like uploading a file and digesting that file into little bits and cutting it and analyzing it and turning it into tables and doing some data analysis. So I think that's super important. So we're done with this one. Let's say, what are let's give it, what is it? This is research pilot. Yeah, I'll give it some thinking. Some actions that you might want. Maybe you have access to Crunchbase. You're an investor and you have an access to an API like a Crunchbase, or some other place where you have some deals, or you wanted to look at, or maybe you have access to a stock market analysis tool that has a database or something like that, and you want to do some research on stocks or something like that, right? So you could definitely give those APIs, those things, pulling information from those different databases. That's a great use case for such a GPT, right? To have access to those things, right? Coolio. So this is only me again. We've got a final one. We're going fast. We got less than 7 minutes, and we have to mention about next week's while this is happening as well. We could do that. No, let's just see. All right, this one is ready. Research pilot is going to show up in a second on the left. Oh, it's 2 weeks. The next section. Yeah, that's the next session. That's great. We have a quick break. So as you saw, we got 4 GPTs ready. Can we build a fifth one? Do you believe we can build a fifth one? Right? And then you're like, Tim, yeah, but the quality, I think 90% of it has been great. The last one, I'm not very proud of the last one because we didn't get it to check a lot of the internal information and stuff like that, right? So you would want to do that, as I said, so that it's much more custom. But I can go back and I can enrich that instruction now with more information. I can definitely do that. Yeah. Cool. So how about yes? Like we're just building our final one. And this one I'm going to try something quick as well that is cool. So let's get this very quickly. You're not going to give me profile pictures, so don't lie to me. Let's take this. Let's go back to our ChatGPT, right? Let's start a new chat, and here what we're going to do is check how I answer our customers on my Gmail, and understand my tone and my style of how to communicate with customers at AR Prater as a founder, Tim Cakir as well, right? And help me build a great custom GPT for this. I have some draft instructions here. Right. So this might take a tiny bit more time because I've asked it hopefully about my Gmail. So as you can see, I'm still on auto, but it might switch. Hopefully it didn't switch. Cheeky. This is why be careful, right? Because the router sometimes might not work, right? Sometimes it works. I said Gmail, it didn't wanna kick in, right? So what I would do, I don't want to waste our time now, but I would come in here, I would also add source, and I would make sure that you see it's auto, it should even be on. It should go do it. So I don't know why it didn't kind of kick in. So I would say, check my Gmail. Check my Gmail. Actually, it didn't. Also, why? Because I do most of our communication also with ChatGPT anyways, right? So it has so many so many threads that it has all that, So I know that this is really me. Got it. Thanks for flagging that here as well. Okay. I'm friendly, confident, human. Yes. Simple sentences, no filler. Respectful but ownership of solution. Genuine but never fluffy. Yeah, it knows exactly how I communicate because we kind of communicate together, and it knows how I do my emails. It knows everything. Wow, it's genius, right? So then I come back to this. Where was that we were building? No, sorry, this one, right? And then I bring in that in. Bam. I clean this up a little bit. All right. Yes, so it just added a bunch of stuff I think there. All right, here we go. Perfect. You need a customer that writes. Okay, this is gone as well, right? And then you can kind of get this here. All right, and here we go. Right. So here you do one web search. You want a canvas? Maybe not. Image gen. I don't want it. Code interpreter data analysis. I potentially don't want that. Here I might want to put my Gmail actions, right? I could put Zapier. Zapier has all the actions, so you could just build one action to Zapier, and then Zapier has like Gmail tools and so on. So you could do that as well. So here it's content. I'm gonna just go with a GPT-5, right? And then I'm gonna create this. Let's go. And then I'm going to say only me, and I'm going to save it. And then we're going to open that GPT, and then we're going to show you how in less than an hour, I talked a lot, right? I could have done even faster. In less than an hour, how we built, 5 GPTs. Right. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you for joining. In 2 weeks. All right. So in 2 weeks, we have great sessions again. Before that, maybe I wish we could just see all our GPTs here. We were seeing it on here, I think, somewhere. Let's see if I refresh it. It can show us our GPT. Here we go. 1, Precision Pen. 2, Data Insight Analyst. 3, Project Navigator. 4, Research Pilot. And 5, Custom Reply Drafter. Right, we got 5 GPTs. Are they perfect? No. Do they need to be perfect right now? No, not on a Friday at this time, right? Monday I make them perfect, or in the weekend I make them perfect. But I know they're 90% there. Some of them are even 95% there, right? Because they looked at my Notion, they looked at my style, they look at our, the project one. It's great because they looked at our Notion for all the projects. It knows how do we do EOS, how do we do team weekly calls and the syncs. It knows all that stuff, right? And it just build it, right? I know that one's going to be a hit right away. Some of the other ones I might want to tweak a little bit. That I want to add some more love. I want to give some more love to them. But I think that this is a great job done in less than an hour. Right. So no excuses. You can have your old GPTs and your assistants and do that now because GPTs are going to connect to Agent Kit soon. And when it connects to Agent Kit, it's going to be like, oh, even more power coming very soon. Right. Cool. Awesome. 2 weeks. Where's my 2 weeks? Thank you very much. 2 weeks. Top 10 AI tools, live demos with real business use cases. Wow, that sounds like a fun one. I want to be there. Oh yeah, I have to be there. I'm hosting it. So I'll be there, right? Be there or be square. All right. See you on Friday, 7th of November. Again, live on LinkedIn and YouTube, right? On AI Operator channels on LinkedIn and YouTube. Thank you very much, everybody. Join the live session, sign up, share it with friends and colleagues. Thank you very much. Have an awesome weekend. Build some cool GPTs. I believe in all of you now. I always believed in